Thank you. Aftonbladet.
Victor Stenqvist, Aftonbladet. Mr. President, two questions. Firstly, what was your reaction to the cancellation of the meeting between Putin and Trump? And secondly, if Putin can't be stopped in Ukraine, what risks do you see in the future for Sweden?
Europe will have risks. I don't know. I think Sweden is a very important part for EU, strong part, important part. And of course, if one of the European countries, of EU countries is in risk, I think that the security of Europe is in risks. So that's it. I think that I said about it, if we will not stop Putin, if we will not have a plan how to have a peace, so if we will not have minimum of this ceasefire, with understanding what to do next steps, so Putin can try to open new front somewhere, because for him Ukraine is very difficult. I'm not comparing our security or our military capability with other countries. No. I'm not trying to do it. I'm just say that we are in war so many years, and that's why I think other countries are not ready for such thing. It's like we've been at the very beginning of the war. It's understandable. So it's difficult to prepare for the war. It's not true that somebody can really prepare for the war, totally prepare, because psychologically, the most important, it's about people. Who is ready for the war? Who wants war? Normal people don't want. And it's understandable why. Because you are adequate people. That's it. You don't want losses. Don't want to lose your family. And that's why I'm sure that the most important strong society, but I think society is difficult again to prepare society for the war. And God bless that other countries will not do it. And that's why he will find, I think, if he will think about, he can think about other country, one or another, but not very big, because it's difficult. Because it's difficult not only to occupy the part, it's very difficult to hold. Ukrainian territory is big, one of the reasons. So yes, our people, yes, we long in war, but our territory is big. That's why you need too much people to hold it, even after you occupied it, temporarily occupied it. You have to hold. You need more soldiers. And it's very expensive. And so a lot of details about it. I mean, that we can speak about it, yes, with details, but we need too much time for this discussion. That's why I think risks have, first of all, small countries. This is my opinion. And for Putin, doesn't matter. They are in NATO, in EU, or not.
Thank you. And then we have the last question from Sveriges Radio.
Пане президент, в мене питання, але
Mr. President,
this is a question to both of you. As Ulf Kristersson says, this is a very urgent situation, but we can do things in the here and now. We can send old airplanes, as it were, that we have in Sweden. Is this a question that you have discussed at all? And in that case, when could Ukraine receive planes that we are not using at the moment? But we have said oftentimes, in fact, that we are part of this coalition discussing defense in Ukraine, and we haven't. We know, in fact, that that there are Gripen aircraft that Sweden isn't using, and we sent, in fact, an agreement to radar surveillance aircraft to Ukraine. That was the best thing that we could do at that time, that these F-16 aircraft operating in Ukraine at the moment, that they also had greater capacity through the radar ability that we can offer, instead of at the same time introducing two new small-scale fighter systems in Ukraine. But this is something that can change. Of course, we haven't changed that assessment at the moment. At the moment, we're fully occupied with, in fact, introducing the radar surveillance for those fighter jets. Thank you.
Last question. Ja, Julia från SVT. Jag har en fråga om den här.
I have a question with regard to this letter of intent presented here today. What does that entail in practice? So when can you start selling these aircraft to Ukraine? And for the production here in Linköping at Saab here in Linköping, what does that mean to them? That's a very important question. The first thing that we need to do now is to look together at all possibilities that we can find for financing for the long term for Ukraine. This was already ongoing, and together with the reconstruction of Ukraine as well. And there, the discussion about the frozen assets is a very important part. Now, we're talking about the latest generation that was introduced just the other day here in Sweden. Now, that production capacity is just being established at the moment. So in practice, we're talking about within 3 years. That's when we can start delivering. And then, of course, you don't deliver 150 aircraft all in one go. This is a long-term process, which means that we're talking about what we're talking about, the financing. We're talking not just sort of one small short period of time. This is a long period of a process. So, well, we're talking anyway about within the next 3 years for the first possible delivery. That's possible, and I'm saying that. I'm not saying, I'd like to underline that this isn't something that is done in the here and now. I just like to say, but we are just showing what our will, our desire, and this is how all major projects start. In fact, to be honest, I mean, if everything had, been done and dusted, then of course we would have been too late.
If I can, we are truly interested in serious co-production with Saab company. We want to produce drones. We are very interested in that. We are open for cooperation with Sweden. We have excellent relationship, and there is experience that we have because of the war, and we have the best or one of the best drones in the world, and we'll scale that up. Among other things, in partnership with Sweden. This is what we've discussed with Mr. Prime Minister, with Sweden and with Saab company. The second thing about Gripen. Finances are a very important issue. There are aircraft, and we'll be talking about that further. There are Gripen, new generation Gripen. So we very much count on the quantity that we've discussed, no fewer than 100 aircraft. And we will also be talking about the possibility to use other aircraft which are not state-of-the-art to expedite this in a certain way. So we'll also speak about deliveries here. We'll also be talking about training of our pilots, which is also important. But the main thing that we have as of today, we very much wanted to have a political decision to provide a possibility for Ukraine to purchase Gripens and to build a modern air fleet. And this opportunity is open today. We have a politically positive decision. We are grateful to Sweden for this. Thank you all for this, and to all of your team.
Now, let me say, President Zelensky, we are learning a great deal from President Zelensky. Drones were mentioned, civilian defense, all this, the will to defend, all of this. These are things that we have learned from Ukraine over the years. So let's not underestimate this. And it's not a corporate secret, as it were, that, we are really trying to, cooperate on a broader front between the Swedish defense corporations and Ukraine. And this is also important to underline.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks again. It's a beauty.
It's great.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.